नमस्ते दोस्तों, आपका स्वागत है मेरे चैनल पर। इसे सब्सक्राइब करें और घंटी आइकन दबाएं।
This chart tracks the popular vote in Germany. In 1928, a fringe political party captured a measly 80,000 votes. But look what happens next. Just 4 years later, that sliver explodes into a massive pillar of 14 million votes. This surge in support brought a failed artist into the center of government, positioning him to initiate the deadliest conflict in human history. Hitler moved from the political fringe to absolute authority within the framework of a collapsing democracy, securing his power without an armed external invasion. To understand how a fringe group gained such momentum, we have to look at the end of World War I. The resulting peace agreement, the Treaty of Versailles, was deliberately engineered to humiliate and cripple the German state. The mechanics of the treaty were devastating. The German army was restricted to a mere 100,000 troops. The country's overseas colonies were stripped away, and French forces occupied Germany's most vital, coal-rich regions. Then came the guilt clause. Germany was forced to accept total responsibility for starting the war, which meant saddling the nation with the entire financial burden of the conflict. These brutal conditions created a political vacuum. You had a deeply indebted, angry populace, starving in the streets and desperate for a leader who promised a return to national pride. Long before he was making political promises, Adolf Hitler was a struggling drifter. He spent his early years living in Vienna as a failed artist, unable to find a stable career or a clear path forward. He found his sense of purpose in the military. When World War I broke out, he joined the German army, trading his aimless life for the rigid structure of the European trenches. He survived heavy fighting and a British mustard gas attack, forcing him to trim his mustache so his gas mask would seal properly. When Germany suddenly surrendered in 1918, his loyalty turned into a deep, radicalizing anger. The bitterness of national defeat merged with his personal failures. It produced an extremist obsessed with retribution against those he deemed responsible for Germany's fall. Hitler returned to Munich and joined a tiny, obscure workers' party. He quickly dominated the group by becoming its most aggressive speaker, focusing his rhetoric on the perceived betrayal of the Versailles Treaty. He rebranded the group as the National Socialist German Workers' Party. By blending right-wing nationalism with appeals to the working class, he cast the widest net possible for desperate voters. In 1923, he tried to seize power by force during the Beer Hall Putsch, leading armed paramilitaries in an attempt to overthrow the Bavarian government. The rebellion was crushed. The failure taught Hitler a lesson that would change his strategy. He realized that a modern government is best dismantled from the inside, utilizing its own laws to destroy its foundation. During a short prison sentence, he wrote Mein Kampf. The book established an us versus them blueprint that blamed Jews and communists for every hardship Germany faced, providing his followers with a specific list of enemies to hate. Then, the 1929 stock market crash wiped out foreign loans, propping up Germany's fragile economy. Unemployment skyrocketed, leaving millions of families without food or income. This economic collapse gave Hitler's message the momentum it needed. The nationwide desperation made his rhetoric of blame and promised stability finally feel persuasive to the masses. Leading up to the 1932 elections, the public reached a breaking point. The streets were filled with people driven by a volatile combination of extreme poverty and nationalist fervor. Hitler capitalized on this panic. He campaigned as a savior, the only man strong enough to provide work and bread to a nation that had lost both. The strategy succeeded. The Nazi Party captured 37% of the vote, securing 230 seats and becoming the largest, most powerful party in the Reichstag. At the height of their economic vulnerability, millions of Germans utilized the democratic process to willingly install a dictator. By exploiting existing laws and the public's grievances, the democratic system was legally and permanently dismantled from within. The resulting totalitarian state would lead directly to the tragedy of the Holocaust and a war that would consume the entire world.
Like, comment and subscribe my channel.